Welcome back to another edition of the Course Creation Incubator podcast. I'm your host, Gina Onativia, here to get you fired up about growing your audience and building your business with the right strategies. I'm here to push you, to challenge you, and to hopefully help you take action on whatever you're building right now, your course, your workshop, your live cohort, whatever it looks like where you're putting yourself out there in a bigger way. We're continuing our Lead Magnets That Still Convert series today. And if you caught the last episode, we dug into a step-by-step checklist and why it could still be such a powerful opt-in. Today, we're moving on to one of my favorites, the quiz, an oldie but goodie. So today, we're going to talk about why quizzes, why I'm such a fan of it. We're going to break down the components. This is a workshop episode. And then I'm going to give you an example. We'll walk through that together so you can start thinking about creating your own quiz and the different pieces that might go into it. Before I dive in, this episode is of course brought to you by our Done For You services, high touch, custom course creation and marketing. If you're interested in learning how we can handhold you through the entire process, whether it's a certification course, signature, lead magnet, starter course, whatever you want to build, go to coursecreationboutique.com/course, book a call with me. We'll chat. We only take a few experts or small business owners each and every quarter. We are a boutique. So if you're interested in that custom feel to your course creation and your marketing, book a call. So why quizzes? Why am I such a big proponent of them? Well, first of all, quizzes are engaging. They're interactive by nature, unlike a PDF or even a checklist. And you guys know I'm a fan of checklists because I talk about it last episode. Your potential students aren't just downloading and scanning, they are actively participating. And participation tends to equal connection. Because in a world of AI, when people are just swiping and getting their information as fast as possible, when you can actually make someone stop and read and process, that is a powerful action. That is connection. I'm not saying it's deep connection yet, but we're on to something here because you've made them stop and pay attention to you. When someone takes your quiz, a potential student, a potential customer, they're essentially raising their hand and saying, I want to learn something about myself. That's a very different energy than just, say, reading a static document. Another great thing about quizzes is, I said it before, they're finding out something about them. What's our favorite topic, guys? Us. What's your potential student's favorite topic? Them. If we think in terms of the 6 human needs, let's do a sidebar real quick for a second. When I used to work for Tony Robbins, he would talk about the 6 human needs everywhere at his Unleash the Power Within event. But it's love and connection, significance, growth, contribution, certainty, and uncertainty. And I did those a little bit out of order, so don't write to me if you've been to a Tony Robbins seminar. Now, if you think in terms of our basic needs, love and connection, so with a quiz, you get connection, you get a little bit of growth too, because you're learning something about you. Maybe you even feel like you're contributing to something because you're interacting with a quiz. And Tony always used to say, if there's 3 needs associated with something, then we can get addicted. But we also have certainty, the fact that I know how to take a quiz before, uncertainty, because I don't know what the questions will be, and then maybe we feel a little bit of significance too. So a quiz can be a really, really powerful tool for you in terms of connecting, and that's where it all comes from fulfilling on those needs. And for us as course creators, quizzes give us something incredibly valuable, insight. You get to see where your audience is at, what they're struggling with, or even how they think about themselves. Now, this is going to allow you to segment your email list and tailor your messaging in a way that feels really personal. So here's the bottom line. Quizzes can build trust fast, and they make the person, the prospect on the other end, feel like you kind of get them. Let's talk through the elements of what I think is a great quiz. First and foremost, you got to have a compelling hook, right? The title of your quiz, so critical. Same for your webinar, same as your masterclasses, right? You got to hook them from the get-go. Attention spans are short. It needs to make people curious enough to click. So I've seen quizzes about what kind of entrepreneur are you? I actually did a quiz on what kind of course creator are you? Now I'm going to talk about that a little bit about the mistakes I made in that quiz in this episode, but because to me there's all kinds of different course creators. But for this exercise, let's say you have a quiz, what type of content creator are you? Let's talk through the elements of a great quiz. First and foremost, you need a compelling hook. The title of your quiz really is critical. It needs to make people curious. It needs to make people stop in their tracks and want to engage with you. So I've seen quizzes about what's your love language. I've seen quizzes about what type of entrepreneur are you. I did a quiz, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, about what kind of course creator are you, because there's different types of course creators. For this exercise, we could do what type of content creator are you? I've seen quizzes about perimenopause and menopause, about what are your symptoms, and then what's your type with that. So it instantly makes people want to find out more. What kind of writer? What kind of runner are you? I was just looking at this quiz the other day about what kind of runner I am, and I took that quiz. It's interesting to me because I'm interested in the topic, and then I want to know how I differ from other runners or other women or other course creators or content creators. So that's first, the compelling hook in the topic. If you don't know a topic, ask your people. Figure out the pain point. Figure out what they're trying to figure out in terms of their journey and how you can answer it for them. The second, the questions. Now, these should be simple, fun, easy to answer. Think multiple choice or a sliding scale. Don't overcomplicate it. The goal is progress, not overwhelm. I was just taking a financial quiz the other day. This is such a great example. And at first it talked about my goals. It asked me about my goals, and it was multiple choice, and I was doing great, guys. And then it gave me scenarios like, well, Gina, if you invested this much money over this many years, then are you comfortable with the next step scenario? Like, it didn't give me multiple choice after that. It was like, how do you feel about the scenario and what would you do next? I was totally unprepared for this quiz. I didn't feel qualified for it. I felt ashamed and I left right away. And that's exactly what we don't want to do with our quizzes, right? We don't want to make people feel dumb or like they don't have the answers. The opposite. We want to make them feel like a sense of progress, like they do have the answers. You got this. And that's why you'll see those bars that say, hey, 60% done, or they'll see encouragements like, hey, you're doing great. The newer quizzes will just give you like a true or false or a 2-answer question. I was just taking this quiz about what kind of runner are you, and that's the kind of quiz it was. It wasn't for multiple choice. It was like, hey, true or false, and it kept encouraging me to keep going. And then, of course, with the results, this is the heart of the quiz. This is your third element of the quiz. Your results should feel personal, accurate, encouraging. No one should leave your quiz results thinking, well, gosh, that wasn't me at all. Each result should reflect something aspirational about your students, something that they want. You're leading them to the next step, right? So it's not going to be like that financial quiz where I had already abandoned it. And the likelihood that I got results that made me feel encouraged were low. And then the fourth element of a great quiz is the follow-up. This is where most people miss an opportunity. Once someone gets your quiz results, just don't leave them hanging. You want to deliver extra value via email, tips, insights, resources based on their result. And then naturally guide them toward your paid offer. Whether it's your Tripwire, it could be a low price point. It could be to go into a webinar with you where you are pitching something that's a little bit higher. Now you're pitching your course. Don't leave them hanging. Make sure you lead them to the next step. You've done all the work to build out this quiz. Let's make it work for you. All right, let's workshop a quiz together. Let's go back to the what kind of content creator are you? Now, how I would sell this is you are a content creator if you are in business today. You need to put out free, consistent content on the regular if you want a way to nurture prospects into the next step. Now, it's that much easier if you know what kind of content creator you are. So I would have 6 to 8 easy questions, such as, when you sit down to make content, what's your first instinct? Research, outline, record, or coach live? So I would have those 4 options as the answer. Here's another one. Your audience loves you most when you A, share deep insights, B, interview guests, C, break things into steps, or D, motivate them to take action. Now, you can probably see where I'm going based on these answers because I'm thinking that would land on one of 4 possible outcomes. Now, based on these questions I've asked and the answers I've given, you might be able to guess where I'm going in terms of these 4 content types. 1, you're the deep thinker. You thrive on sharing insights. You're a philosopher. Okay, you share your unique perspectives. You very likely absorb a lot of different content and you want to share it. Or 2, you're the interviewer. You shine when bringing out the best in others through conversations. So maybe you have a podcast and you're constantly bringing guests on. Or 3, you're the step-by-step. You're a natural teacher. You love to break things down into clear processes step by step. That's me. Or maybe you're the coach. You're a motivator who energizes people and gets them to take action, but maybe not the step-by-step way. Okay, more inspiring. Now, each of these outcomes isn't just a label, it's a starting point for your follow-up, for your nurture. So for example, let's say someone gets the deep thinker. Now, a deep thinker, I think of Perry Moffmer, who I've had on the podcast before, and Perry is a philosopher. And he asks you questions, deep questions that will have you thinking all day. And he just absorbs content ferociously. And then on his podcast, he's challenging us. He's not going to give me step by step. He's not going to bring on guests really, but he's going to be quite the deep thinker. Now, say I sent a follow-up email to somebody like Perry, somebody who identifies as the deep thinker. Hey, congratulations, I saw you're a deep thinker. That means your content shines when you are being a big philosopher. And in fact, my course has a module that will help you package up big ideas into content that converts. So you're not just saying, thanks for taking the quiz. You're deepening the conversation and guiding them toward your program or your next offer. So I could do the same, right? For the coach or for the interviewer. Hey, I know you love to connect with people. You love to talk to guests in different ways. You love to demo with guests. Well, in my course, I teach you how to X, Y, and Z. Quizzes are powerful because they open up the door to an ongoing personalized conversation. So make sure you're connecting with them. Make sure you're following up. Start small, pick a hook. Think of 3 or 4 possible outcomes, like 5 tops that your audience could resonate with, and draft a few simple questions. Don't do what I did, which was I got really deep and complex with my questions, which is sometimes where my brain goes. Don't go there. If you go there, have somebody edit it for you or put it into AI and say, please, please, please simplify this. By the way, AI is such a great resource to help you plan this out. Put in some prompts or put in some pain points for the topic. Once you drill down on a topic, use AI to help you with the questions. Don't be afraid to prompt it to continue to go layer to layer so you get really good questions. By the way, AI is a really great resource for this. Use it to come up with topics and questions. Don't be afraid to challenge AI to help you here. Hopefully this was helpful and you can start a meaningful conversation with the people you want to help most with your quiz. Now, in our next episode of the series, I'll cover another lead mag that I know and I love to use, and that's a video series. Stay tuned for that one. If you haven't left me a review, I would love it. If this has impacted you in any way, I'd love to hear it. Check out our Done For You services at coursecreationboutique.com/course. By the way, in the Done For You, we can help you create a quiz as part of your course process. Until next week, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.